order, I'd like to see if there's a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the August 17th, 2020 minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We're good. Okay, meeting is open to the public. This portion of the meeting is especially set aside for comments from the public who are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comments should email publicmeetings@rockyhillct.gov. You will be provided with the link to attend the Zoom remote meetings and instructions on how you will participate. So we do have public comment today. Before we allow the members that have signed up, I will have one comment to read in. This comment is from Krista Mariner, and Krista writes, as she has done past several meetings on COVID-19. Hello, I have a few questions for Charles Brown of the CCHD. First, the guidance on COVID seems to be shifting a bit, and I need input from a public health professional. It seems that the virus is far more aerosolized than spread on objects such as door handles. Is this correct? While of course everyone should continue to wear masks and practice social distancing, can I stop disinfecting my groceries? Second, given shifting CDC guidance even today, are we still talking about 6 feet aerosolization or potentially more than 20 feet? Third, I just want to confirm that the CCHD drive-through flu clinics won't be offering the high-dose flu vaccine to those seniors not comfortable entering CVS. Fourth, can the CCHD and/or DPH provide guidance to healthcare professionals that they shouldn't be wearing KN95 masks with exhalation valves? Fifth, is there a way to mandate that healthcare professionals get regular COVID testing? It's upsetting to continuously hear from various healthcare professionals that they will only get tested if they become symptomatic, especially given the data about asymptomatic spread. I sound like a broken record, but I should feel safest at the doctor's office. Instead, it's where I feel the most vulnerable. Thank you for your help and guidance. Krista Mariner, 58 Farms Village Road, Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Krista, we are reading it in. Our healthcare professional from the CCHD is not with us tonight, but I will get him that comment and we will answer that at the next Public Safety Committee meeting. That being said, we do have a public here. And I don't know if there's, I'm looking for, I guess, Jillian Maynard. Hi, Jillian.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Would you like to go first?
Sure. My name is Jillian Maynard, and I live on Bailey Road in Rocky Hill. And I've been in contact with a few people through the town over the past couple of months about speeding on Bailey Road and Parsonage. And I'm sure this is not news to anybody. I know they're speeding all over town, but I was prompted to raise this issue because recently we had a car drifting around the corner from Parsonage and they crashed in front of our house. But before they did that, they went up on the sidewalk where people walk every day, where I walk my 2-year-old almost every day. So I've lived here for 5 years on this road and I've never really noticed it before, but over the past few months, it's been very concerning. There are a lot of little kids on this street. There are people who are driving at least 60 miles an hour down the road, sometimes faster. And I've witnessed a few close calls with people exiting my driveway. So just feeling a little nervous and wanted to bring it to attention. I haven't seen a lot of monitoring happening. I know people are really busy. So I just wanted to bring it up and put it on record that there's a lot of worry here on Bailey Road. Thank you.
Jillian, thank you for that. The police chief, Chief Custer, at department updates is going to be addressing this issue. So we're taking your comment and we're going to move on to the next comment.
Okay, thank you.
And then if you hang in there, you'll see some comments back and forth. So
Okay, thank you.
next up is Grace Lucier.
Hi, thank you for having me here tonight. I live at 46 Jennifer's Way. I'm new to Rocky Hill. We moved here recently to care for my father-in-law who has Alzheimer's. We had put up Ring cameras outside our house, and it wasn't for any type of security purpose originally. It was actually to keep track of my father-in-law in case I happened to have to step out for a few minutes or something. It was very disturbing to see repeatedly the same vehicles coming through the neighborhood, coming right up to our house. I mean, we put the lights on outside thinking that it was going to deter them a little bit, but apparently it didn't. It caused even more access. Our neighbor, who is 2 houses down, is a retired police officer, and he happened to see them one night out there, and he flicked his lights. He went outside, and they were actually trying to boost my car. Anyways, so they took off running, and the car took off. 2 people took off through the development, and the other 2 people jumped into the car and took off through the neighborhood. There have been a few times where even during the day, there's vehicles that come through here. One in particular, I got the license plate number of, who obviously have no business here because they don't stop at any of the houses. And just from the music that was playing and so forth, it just was a very uneasy feeling. And the part that makes me even more uneasy is, it's a 55+ community. And one night they came at 9:25 at night trying to break into my car again. And 5 minutes later, the neighbor next door came home, who's an older woman by herself. She parked her car in the driveway, left it running as she was bringing her groceries in. And in my mind, all I could think of is if she would have been 5 minutes earlier, what would have happened? Now, I understand the police cannot be everywhere at one time. It's that'd be impossible. But there has to be something that maybe we can do, whether it's setting up a sting or something, because it's really getting a little bit out of control. We've had to actually rearrange our vehicles, put my vehicle in the garage, which has seemed to help a little bit, but we still do have it on the ring of them coming through at nighttime as recently as 3 nights ago. And the vehicles look the same. They slow down and they just circle out and through. And I'm just concerned because it seems to be happening everywhere. I know not just in Rocky Hill also, but is there anything that we can do as citizens to help out? Or is there some way that maybe the police, because we are near the police station, going in and out on their shift or whatever, can just either come through here or something? I don't know. And I'm looking for guidance.
So thank you very much for that, Grace. You have 3 videos that I think we have queued up. Are we going to see those now?
Do you have them, or did you want me to? I'm
Uh,
not the most computer person.
John,
This is John Murphy. I have them if you'd like me to play them.
go ahead and play. These are Grace's address, Grace's driveway, 3 separate nights. Go ahead and play.
Okay.
This
Actually,
was the 3rd time. This is when
I'll play the first one. My apologies.
okay, no, that's fine. This is the one, I think it was at 9:25 at night when the neighbor came home like 5 minutes afterwards. And they're trying to my car was parked on the other side and they're trying to get into it. They didn't touch the truck that had tools in it, which my husband has emptied out. So we turned the lights on here again. They came back, same vehicle. And the 3rd video was when our neighbor went outside. He said that you couldn't see on the other side of the garage, but there was 2 other men, and they ran through the development when they saw him come outside, and they jumped back in the car. That's what he told me. So,
So again, I want to thank you very much for going through the steps to get this video to us and for calling in tonight. Was the process easy enough for you to go through with John Murphy to get here tonight? Was it
Yes.
easy enough? Okay,
Oh, yes.
great, great. All right, up next is a Kevin Dion. Is Kevin here? Up next is Lori Light. Is Lori here? Up next is Bob Scotty.
Yes.
Bob, I see you there.
Okay, good evening. May I start?
Go ahead, please.
I just want to say that I'm Grace's neighbor. I'm Bob Scotty, 59 Jennifer's Way. She's the one that did an excellent job of explaining everything that's going on. You know, again, she said we're a 55 and over community, and you know who lives here. So what I'm asking is a neighbor of mine, not Grace, but across the street, has a video camera. He has it on my house and a few houses up from me, and he's seen the cars come through. They've tried to get into my cars and a few other cars, and then you go around the corner, it's a Grace's house. What I'm asking for is what can the police department do? I know you're here on Dividend Road quite a bit. We just had a new paved road, and you know the police are there stationed every other day or whatever, just to stop the speeders. I'm hoping that maybe the evening shift or the overnight shift, they can make a run through here on their way out or on their way back in. You know, we have a one-way in and a one-way out, and it goes around in a circle. There is an access road only for emergency vehicles, which we have set up for emergencies with the gate. And if the police do come in, I would hope that they just stop at the entrance and wait a few minutes and to see if there is a car in the neighborhood that shouldn't be here. You know, we roll the sidewalks up here, as the old cliche says, you know, at 7 o'clock. And anybody coming in after that, you know, especially late, doesn't really belong here. So I'm hoping that the police department can at least give us something, some presence at night. You know, we don't know when this is going to hit, but again, we're 55 and over. I don't want to tell you, I think I've told you, John or Ed, how many types of people live here. Again, similar to the other 55 and over communities. So if we call the police when we see something, you know, if you get here in time, maybe you can just block the road and wait for them to come out, because there's no other way. So I guess that's what I have to say. Hopefully you can help us. It's been going on since, I think Grace will probably tell you, sometime in August. We don't know if it's been way before that at all, but we've been very aware. We've locked our cars. We've sent out notices, and whatever the town can do for us, it would be appreciated. Thank you.
Bob, thank you. Bob took it upon himself to write in first and then coordinated with Grace. And Bob, I think you found the process to get connected to go smoothly.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for doing it. We encourage other public that wants to speak at any of the meetings to go ahead and do so. Do we have any other public in the queue? All right, hearing none, we're going to move into departmental updates, but we're going to start with police so that we can keep these questions fresh in our mind and let Chief Custer go with his department review first. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go. Good evening, all, and to those who called in, thank you. We appreciate you know, you keeping us informed in terms of what's going on in town. Behind me is my patrol commander, Joe Phelps. So he'll speak personally to some of these issues. But let's just go down in order here and start with Jillian first. Speeding cars on Bailey Road in the area of Parsonage. Joe, why don't you respond in terms of what we've been doing out there?
So Jillian, we got your email that you had sent in. And I believe that we received that on 9/7, and on 9/7, we put out our traffic sign, which gives us the ability to monitor the speed in that neighborhood. If we don't do that first, it doesn't allow us to pinpoint which times we can deploy the officers. Otherwise, we're just kind of roughshod and not knowing what times a day to put the officers out there. So that has been out there since 9/7, according to what I have listed here. Sergeant Nevico is our traffic data guy, and he's working on that. So we are looking at, well, of course, I'm sure traffic's a lot slower right now because I believe they milled most of that road. So that's going to mess everything up. So we're going to leave it out there a little bit longer.
Great, thank you.
In dressing Grace and Bob, where do I begin? Nobody is more frustrated than us with this whole thing. I could get really political, but I'm going to try to keep it professional. It's happening all over.
Yes.
It's happening in every community. They've been in my driveway. My neighbors call me when they see them running in. It's frustrating. They're emboldened. The Ring cameras, we tell people they're smiling at them. Lights are on, they're waving at them. You saw how they approached the car. They didn't seem too concerned.
No.
Anything would happen, even if they got caught. So there's a number of factors working here. If it seems like it's increasing, it absolutely is. We pulled our numbers. That's for motor vehicles, June through August, this year versus last year. They have doubled this past summer. So, what's going on that's causing this? There's a number of things going on. The state has raised the age, minimum age to adult age to age 18 from 16. So now you have a new class of individuals, 16 and 17-year-olds, who pretty much go out on crime sprees without any fear of anything happening to them if they get caught, because they'll be adjudicated as juveniles, which essentially means nothing happens. And there's no record of it either. We have intercepted a number of these people during the night. These are occurring early evening. They're occurring in the middle of the night. They're occurring early morning when people are warming their cars up or getting ready for work. We have intercepted these people numerous times. We have the officers out there. Joe will have the number of neighborhood checks we've done. As soon as they engage, we have to break off by state law. We are not allowed to pursue them. And it is clear, the statute is clear. You will not go after people for property crimes and get involved in motor vehicle pursuits. They know this. They know this. So if they get to the car, take off, they know that we can't follow. So we'll radio in the next town, but basically there's not much else we can do until these cars are recovered somewhere in the state, and hopeful that we can get some DNA evidence or some kind of evidence from the car after it's recovered. We are doing DNA swabs on these cars whenever they are recovered. So we're trying to do as much as we can with the restrictions and limitations that we have on us. In terms of what can you do, number one, call us. Encourage your neighbors to call us if they see any of this activity. We're generally not far away. We have the town pretty well saturated when we're on patrol. We're conducting the neighborhood checks, like I said. I think maybe at some point we have to start considering calling our state reps and maybe readjusting some of these laws that handcuff us when we're out in the field. Did you want to comment, Joe, in terms of what we've done?
So some of the things that we have been doing that, and I'll start with a little bit of stats to, you guys know we've been out there, but since May, we've been out there, not in your particular area, but throughout different residential neighborhoods in town, 2,036 times just from 10 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. That's officers patrolling around neighborhoods, calling it off. Several times these officers have encountered people trying to break in the cars. Some of the incidents, the people involved, the suspects involved, have taunted the officers on the roadway, knowing that they try to get them to get closer to them so they can get in the car, take off, and the officers, they know they can't chase them. Bob, you brought up something about roadblocks. Unfortunately, roadblocks are considered an excessive use of force at this point for a property crime. We wouldn't be able to block the road off because God forbid something happened. They kill the officer because they're going too fast, or they kill themselves, or they kill an innocent person. Those types of things, they sound good, but unfortunately they're not really options for us anymore. The big ones that we tried to shift towards doing were, like the chief touched on, were DNA. We have been trying to train all of our officers in when a car is recovered and we have the ability to send an officer out. We do, if we have manpower to do it, we'll send an officer out. We'll check it for DNA. We'll come back. We'll ask you for an elimination DNA swab or fingerprints. And we're trying to just do old school detective work at this point to see if we can narrow down after the car is recovered and, maybe work with other towns and put this together. We've been working on this with Wethersfield since about mid-summer because they're also facing the same problems with the inability to chase down these people. Other than that, Chief touched on most of it. The juvenile laws, that's kind of a hindrance at this point. We are doing your Ring apps and your neighbors apps. We are on that. Some of us are on there personally because we have our Ring apps on our phone. So we see you pop up. I don't even live in this area, but I still circle the town of Rocky Hill to try to see what's been going on. So we are seeing that. But the most important thing for everybody to know is that sending an email to your public safety after the fact is a good idea to maybe make them aware of it, but you need to call us immediately. There's any time that you're sending out an email or doing something after the fact, there's too much lag in there. It's very difficult for us to follow up. Call us right away. Don't feel bad about calling 911. Just call us. That's what we're here for.
The one other point I'd just like to make is if you are up and you see these kids come into your property or on your driveway, I would recommend you don't go out and engage them because we're already seeing predictably a escalation. We had an incident in town last week where that happened. The homeowner came out and engaged them, and they had a firearm and they fired around towards the homeowner. By the way, that same vehicle was in Wethersfield earlier that night, had done the same thing and discharged around a Wethersfield resident. The car was recovered in New Britain, so it's being held for DNA evidence. We're hopeful that we can make some kind of connection. It was a rental car, but basically they're looking for items in the car. So the best thing you can do again is keep the car locked. We are seeing that when they jiggle that door handle and it's locked, they're moving on. It's still not a good feeling knowing they're on your property, but at least they're moving on. Keep the cars locked, keep the valuables out of there. And again, call us if you see anything. But again, we're limited in terms of what we can do, even if we do intercept them, because we're not allowed by law to engage them in pursuit. Matter of fact, we're not even allowed to approach them on foot if the vehicle's moving, because if we get in front of the vehicle, a new statute came out that says we may be liable. We may be liable if we get into a use of force situation, because the argument goes, we positioned ourselves in front of the car. So we're really getting a lot of restrictions out of Hartford that at some point, hopefully you're going to reverse back a little bit, because unfortunately I predict that these things are going to continue and they're going to probably escalate, unless something changes. So I hope I addressed your concerns, or at least answered your questions. Maybe not exactly what you were hoping to hear, but that's where we're at, and that's what we've been doing. I don't know if there's any other questions or comment, Ed.
Yeah, Chief Custer, thank you. And again, thank you to Grace and Bob for connecting in, and Jillian. And I think the next step that you've done this, and you've taken this step, and I know it takes time, but go, Matthew Lesser is your state senator. Please look him up and email him. And Kerry Wood is your state representative. and look her up and send her an email. And so we'll try to put out those addresses as well. I don't have it in front of me right now for their email address and phone number, but we will begin to post that. And they just recommend that you argue against catch and release and no pursuit laws. Again, thank you. And we want to kind of keep moving with the chief's report.
Okay, so real quick, just some monthly stats for August. 2,774 calls for service for the month. We had 14 criminal arrests, 34 motor vehicle accidents investigated, issued 20 fractions and an additional 34 warnings. And training hours were only 5 for the month of August. That's usually a month pretty much postpone all training because we're generally on vacation, but that didn't really happen this year with COVID. Other than that, staffing levels are status quo. 2 openings in the department at present. We just held a advertisement for positions, and we have a oral panel scheduled in the next 2 weeks. So I'll give you an update on that. Other than that, I think everything is status quo.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from Councilor Emmanuel?
No, the only thing I would say, Mike, is based on that earlier comment you made, something I was going to bring up about that New Britain Avenue incident. I'm not sure if it's on the Facebook page for the police department. If you maybe you should emphasize that people should not be going after these people if they're in the driveway or whatever because of the repercussions.
Sorry, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll put that out on social media, John.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
Any questions from Councilor Prakash?
No, I'm good at this time. Thank you.
Again, I apologize that we've got a packed meeting in only 45 minutes. That being said, we're moving on to fire.
Good evening, everybody, and I'll make it real brief to try to help you with the schedule here. You have the report. It was part of the package. The call volume was a little up in August, but we did have about 1/3 of those calls associated with the August, I want to say, the first August storm. Manpower is remaining about the same, 65 active with 71 on the books. And let's see here. Training hours are starting to come back up. We do have a lull from last year because of COVID. However, I'm happy to report that the state is starting to come back up with training, and we had one member complete his Firefighter 1 certification and another one complete his Firefighter 2 certification. And I'll leave it at that for now.
Councilor Emmanuel, any questions for the chief?
No, thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Councilor Prakash?
No questions at this time. Thank you. Counselor.
Ambulance, you're up next, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. For the month of August, the ambulance had 328 calls. Year to date, 2,730. We lost a couple of members. They're moving on to getting their becoming doctors and PAs. So we're down to 74 members right now. We did gain one new one, so we're at 74. And I was able to order more of the N95 masks. They probably won't get here for another month, but they're almost impossible to get, and we were able to locate some. So Rich Renstrom asked to order some for the EOC, and I'm getting more for the ambulance because we're covered, but still tight with the masks. Other than that, we're doing very well, and that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for ambulance from Councilor Emmanuel?
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Counselor Prakash?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your brevity. I wish we had more time to review those reports as we usually do. That being said, we're moving on to old business, which there are none. Mayor, do you have any comments at this juncture?
No, thank you. And I was going to talk very briefly about the Community Watch concept, but I am going to talk about that at the town council meeting. So if folks are interested in learning about community watches, they can stay tuned at the 7 o'clock meeting.
Mayor, thank you for attending this important meeting, and thank you for your public service flyer about lock it or lose it. I guess we could have added empty it, lock it and lose it from all goods. Moving on to new business, we have a presentation from Emergency Management. That would be James Bellinger, Deputy Manager of Emergency Management.
Good afternoon. So emergency management in the town of Rocky Hill is guided by federal and state documents, directives, statutes, and requirements. So all emergencies start local. It's handled by first responders, and they handle their day-to-day operations. When they get larger incidents and they need coordination and assistance, that's what emergency management is there for. It's a framework to reduce hazards and vulnerabilities within the town, gives the integration of interagency coordination. Emergency management does not override or overstep into agency policies and procedures. What they do is they give guidance, recommendations, and ideas to participating partners. And they try to change the thought process from individual agencies to a group thinking. We take separate plans and coordinate it into one emergency operations plan on how to handle an incident. It provides a strategic overview of any incident and establishes a common operating picture within one location. It allows a complete vision of what the incident is and takes away the stress and the tunnel vision of each agency. With that, we've handled several incidents in the last couple of months. We've been dealing with COVID, so we've been coordinating between services for emergency management, town manager, EMS, police, fire, public health, human services, the mayor, and public safety committee. The BLM demonstration, we coordinated with police department, highway, fire, and EMS. The tropical storm was the town manager's office, police, fire, EMS, highway, and human services. We did a cooling center for and coordinated with the library and the town manager's office. And then the weather event that happened a couple of weeks ago, we dealt with town manager's office, police, fire, EMS, and highway. With COVID-19, some of the requirements coming from the state of Connecticut has been overwhelming, and we've been trying to coordinate services and responsibilities with that. One of the responsibilities we had was we had to distribute supplies through the state of Connecticut and Constep. They did a small business of less than 50 employees and giving them masks and thermometers. Over 8 different distribution dates we gave out to 130 different businesses. So far this year, we've completed a town hall safety plan, which is currently in draft. We did the update of the Rocky Hill Emergency Operations Plan and currently working on a Rocky Hill Public School emergency plan. In the future, we'd like to see more informational seminars between town agencies that would give for information sharing, coordination of efforts, identify policies, capabilities, and resources so everybody knows what they're looking at. We can review training on warming and cooling centers, shelters, family reunification centers, and EOC operations. We would like to identify incidents that would automatically trigger emergency management activations. These would include police, fire, EMS, large operations such as structure fires, active shooters, mass casualties. anything with evacuations or significant citizen hazards, anything mass gatherings, shelter operations, or warming and cooling centers. One of the things on our wish list is to develop a CERT team. We started looking at that right before COVID hit, and since then it's been suspended. We also set up drills and exercises in regards to the plans and getting everybody to work together. We were going to do that this year, but with COVID, we've been kind of keeping our distance. We're also looking to change or update the public information platform and keep the information on the website current. And then we're also looking for community involvement in regards to economic development, chamber of commerce, hotels, food distribution, faith organizations, civic groups that can help and support the goals of emergency management. That's what I have, Ed.
James, thank you very much for that report, and I can assure all of you that we appreciated every bit that you did assist in the past 8 or 9 months alone. And I would say that I am interested in seeing if we have a motion on the floor.
Yes, Ed, I have a motion on the floor. I would like to make a motion to add the emergency management to our regularly scheduled public safety meetings like this one.
So to add public safety as a regular department report,
Yes, please.
regularly
Yeah.
scheduled?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll make a second, but I have a comment.
All in favor?
Well,
Aye.
actually, it's discussion, Ed. It's
Oh,
discussion.
okay, discussion?
James, is there enough information to deliver every month? Because I know this only comes up periodically.
I mean, I think there is. I think there's enough activity and issues going on that we could have a monthly report. And I could take information from the public safety agencies to add in and try working with whatever they need.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Pankaj, any comment?
Yeah, so I had a question for James. James, and we can discuss this. I know the time is short today, but I would love to know, like, next time you are here in our regularly scheduled meetings like these, what is the plan for socializing these plans with the broader community, right? In addition to putting them on our website, maybe, and that was another question I had. Do we put them out there in the public view for anybody and everybody to see? And the second part of it is obviously, which I mentioned, is to communicate them effectively with the public, because these plans are as good as like they're communicated.
So we have a lot of information on the emergency management part of the website, and it goes from natural hazards to active shooter. We also uploaded our emergency operations plan that's in there. In regards to specific plans for, like, such as the tropical storm weather event, we don't usually share that. That's usually within interagencies on the operations itself. But we can come up with some type of summary to put up there if you would like, or we could do I also do the after action summaries, which we could put up there.
So my intention for that question was like whatever is relevant information for the public, not that we need to put everything out there. Obviously, only the relevant pieces which might help the public be, active partners in this kind of action. Like if we need something from the public to act on, right? And so I'm not saying like put everything out there. I'm just saying like whatever relevant pieces of information for such plans might be. That's what I'm talking about, really.
So there is a lot of public information on the website itself in regards to being prepared and giving them ideas on what to put in, what to make for kits and things like that. But for specific events that are coming up, I mean, we can come up with some type of summary to put out there. I know that when it's an emergency, we do put up emergency alerts within the website and on the front page of the town website.
Sure. Thank you.
Mayor, you're on mute.
James, do you have any idea what percentage of the Rocky Hill population is actually linked up to the Code Red system?
Percentage, I'm not really sure. One of the issues that we have with Code Red is you have to register through it, where one of the other platforms we're looking at would be automatic registration based on the 911 system. But the Code Red, I believe town-wide, there was points of contact was somewhere around 9,000, but I'm not sure if that's old information, because if you register for it and you move out of town, I don't think you end up changing information on the Code Red website.
And the new system that you're looking into, do you anticipate switching over to that anytime soon? Or should we still be, well, I would think no matter when you intend to switch over to it, we should probably still emphasize folks to sign up for that reverse 911.
Yeah, we're still going to use Code Red and for the time being. I was going to contact somebody this summer, but with COVID and everything else that's been going on, it's kind of delayed. So we haven't set up a meeting or anything yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if that's, I don't have any additional questions. Can we take a vote on this motion to add the Emergency Management Department to the regularly scheduled department updates? And where it's very quiet and there's no need for a report, as with ambulance, sometimes there's no report, but we'd like to get you on the schedule. So can I take a vote? All in favor? Aye. Sorry, my camera's off, so it's unanimous 3.
Yeah.
And my video is not working. And so at this time. So, okay, that motion passes. We are now on to discussion of vandalism in town parks as requested by Councilor Emanuel. And I don't know, Councilor, if you want to go first or if you just want to let police jump in right now.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick comment from that email that I had sent Mike about, I know it was Quarry Park, and then was there something in dividends? I'm just curious if there's any strategy. I know it's kind of difficult to tackle these types of perpetrators.
Be real quick. We had a couple of incidents, one at Quarry Park, the other one at Dividend Park, where individuals were spray painting graffiti. Of course, the challenge for us is where this is occurring is usually quite a ways in the woods, off the main road, kind of out of public sight. When the COVID restrictions first hit in the spring, it was ironic. We were getting so much use out of the trails, we didn't have any problems. And now, for some reason, maybe people aren't using them quite as much, so they become somewhat attractive nuisance for us with the spray painting. So we're going to increase our patrols there. We're going to try to get that quad in there whenever we can, because otherwise we have to walk in by foot. So it kind of restricts us in terms of how deep we can go into the trails. So we'll start paying some extra attention. I would assume that once the weather turns as well, we'll probably see this slow down, but we'll see if we can nip it in the bud right now.
Thanks, Mike.
Any question, Councilor Prakash?
Chief Custer, is there a way to deter this kind of behavior, like by putting cameras there, or I don't know, like I'm just like trying to think outside the box of like the regular, and obviously I don't want to put like more resources, your resources into it. So I'm thinking, is there a way to do this electronically, right? Putting signs up there, or even low tech for that matter, using signs. So I don't know if there is a way to do this in a little bit more of like, low tech way even, that can deter people. That's all I'm hoping for.
It just so happens that we have cameras in one of the parks. I won't name which one. They were just installed, so we're trying them out to see how they work. We really haven't gotten anything much yet, Joe, have we?
It's a trail cam put out there by the group that takes care of the trails. So they did send some stuff, but we haven't been able to identify anybody on it, and that was a little bit earlier towards the end of the summer. So they haven't really been working the way we were hoping for. They were the ones that funded putting them out there and taking care of it, and they were emailing them off. So it's one of those things where it's not as real time as we'd like it to be. So we're poking around at it.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that you can make an example of someone and then really publicize it, and that's it. I think that's my hope, but thank you.
Okay. we'll try it. We'll see what happens.
So, Chief, are you saying that these cameras are being monitored by private civilians? No.
Well, yes.
Yes?
So they're trail cams that are owned by, or I don't know what they call themselves, but, and I don't want to put their name out there who's actually doing it because they're actually helping us. But they did purchase these trail cams, and they take a lot of pride in taking care of the trails and everything. So when they get some sort of information on the camera, they would forward it off to us. I haven't gotten anything from them within the last month or so, and I don't want to give up the position where it's at. But it is their cameras, they're monitoring it, and we're working with them. When they get something, they know to send it off to us right away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that discussion on vandalism in the park. And I hope folks that are watching realize that there's always activity by all of the departments ongoing in highly coordinated ways. And we are lucky to have the professionals that we do have. Moving on to other business, town manager has a quick update.
Yes, with the passage of the police bill recently, that's going to require towns, police departments to have cameras, body cams and car cams. The police department did some investigation on that, and we were able to find another town that went out and got the bid for the cameras. And we also found out that there's a grant money still available to purchase those through OPM. So hopefully tonight, the town council will approve us to move forward with getting, I believe it's about 20 cameras, body cams and car cams, as well as apply for the grant that would pay for 50% of the cost of these cameras.
Any questions, Councilor Emmanuel?
Yeah, thanks.
Councilor Prakash?
Thank you, Ed. No questions at this time.
John, thank you for that welcome update. We want to continue to fund the police and add additional funds to your organization to help out anywhere that we can. And we're hopeful that the 50% grant can be achieved from the state program. You're fighting a lot else, other items as well. So good. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone, for indulging in your patience. Thank you very much.